Today's lesson delves into the advanced urbanization, societal organization, and cultural achievements of an ancient civilization, the Indus Valley. This civilization was marked by organized urban planning, sophisticated infrastructure, and social stratification, even though they evolved in unique geographic, climatic, and cultural contexts. The Indus Valley Civilization is renowned for its advanced urban planning and architecture, a level of sophistication that rivals and even surpasses other contemporary ancient societies. Cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa were laid out with remarkable precision, following a standardized grid system that indicates centralized planning and organized administration. Streets in these cities intersected at right angles, creating clearly defined blocks for residential, commercial, and public buildings. This layout wasn't just aesthetically pleasing, it was highly functional, allowing efficient movement through the city and facilitating trade, commerce, and daily life within a structured environment. The construction materials used in the Indus Valley also showcase a high degree of uniformity and quality. Builders utilized standardized, kiln-fired bricks that were stronger and more durable than sun-dried bricks used in other regions. This consistency in materials suggests a level of centralized oversight, as well as a skilled workforce dedicated to maintaining these standards. The use of baked bricks also indicates awareness of the region's climate, as these bricks were better suited to withstand the seasonal monsoon rains. In some areas, the cities featured elevated platforms or structures, possibly built to protect buildings from flooding, reflecting a practical adaptation to the local environment. One of the most impressive aspects of Indus Valley urban planning was its sanitation and water management system, a feature that was virtually unparalleled in the ancient world. Mohenjo-daro, in particular, had a complex drainage system where wastewater from houses flowed into covered drains that ran alongside the streets. These drains were carefully designed to slope downward, allowing gravity to carry waste out of the city. Each house in the city had access to this drainage system, with private bathrooms and toilets that emptied into the network. This focus on sanitation and hygiene points to a society that placed significant importance on public health and cleanliness, demonstrating an advanced understanding of infrastructure that wasn't widely seen in other ancient civilizations. Water supply was also ingeniously managed. Wells were abundant in the Indus cities, many of them privately owned, providing a consistent and accessible source of water for the residents. Some homes had their own wells, and larger public wells were scattered throughout the city to serve the community. This provision of water on a local and personal level, combined with a well-organized drainage system, suggests that the Indus Valley people had a thorough understanding of civil engineering and prioritization of essential resources, which contributed to a higher standard of living. Public structures within these cities also reveal the social organization and communal values of the Indus people. The Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro, for instance, was a large, centrally located water tank built with carefully constructed brickwork to prevent leaks. This impressive structure likely served as a communal bathing or ritual area, indicating a shared cultural practice around water and purification. The presence of granaries in both Harappa and Mohenjo-daro points to organized storage of food supplies, managed at a community level, perhaps by local leaders or councils, to ensure the city's stability in times of scarcity. Overall, the urban planning and architecture of the Indus Valley Civilization reflect a society with a sophisticated understanding of civil engineering, resource management, and social organization. The layout of their cities, the quality of their construction materials, and the presence of sanitation systems and public buildings suggest an advanced level of coordination and forethought. The Indus people created cities that were not only efficient and sustainable, but also adapted to meet the needs of a growing, complex society, laying a foundation of urban design principles that would echo through the history of city building. The script of the Indus Valley Civilization remains one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world. Found inscribed on thousands of seals, pottery fragments, amulets, and other artifacts, this script comprises a series of symbols that appear to represent a form of written communication, yet it remains undeciphered despite extensive study. The symbols typically range from pictorial representations to more abstract signs, and while scholars have identified around 400 unique characters, the meaning of these symbols and the language they encode are still unknown. This undeciphered script holds tantalizing clues about the civilization's administration, culture, and beliefs. Yet without a Rosetta Stone to guide interpretation, the content of these inscriptions eludes us, keeping much of the Indus people's social and political life hidden from view. One of the primary uses of the script appears to have been related to administrative functions, as many of the inscribed objects were seals. These seals, usually made from steatite stone and featuring intricate animal motifs along with script symbols, likely served as markers of ownership, trade identifiers, or administrative stamps. Their widespread presence suggests an organized system of trade and commerce, where goods and commodities might have been marked to indicate origin, ownership, or authenticity. The seals were possibly used to authorize transactions, secure storage areas, or track goods moving through the city's markets, revealing a sophisticated system of economic control that relied on some form of written verification or certification. The use of the script in what appears to be routine, practical contexts, combined with the standardized design of the seals, points to a form of bureaucratic organization. Unlike Mesopotamian and Egyptian civilizations, where monumental inscriptions were often used to record the achievements of rulers or the decrees of the state, the Indus script appears to have been functional, likely tied to the daily administration of resources and trade. The absence of large-scale, propagandistic inscriptions or narrative records may suggest that the Indus Valley Civilization organized itself without a centralized, authoritarian monarchy or the need to inscribe public declarations of power. Instead, the uniformity of these symbols and their association with trade and ownership hint at a form of decentralized administration, where authority may have been distributed across different sectors of society. The script's role in administration would have been crucial in a society as large and organized as the Indus Valley Civilization, where cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa hosted tens of thousands of residents. To maintain order and support commerce, the Indus people would have needed systems to document transactions, track surplus goods, and manage resources effectively. The script likely served as a vital tool in this process, recording data necessary for coordination and regulation across the urban landscape. However, without the ability to read the script, the exact nature of these records, whether they tracked grain supplies, land distribution, or market exchanges, remains speculative. Despite its undeciphered status, the presence of a written script itself speaks volumes about the complexity of the Indus Valley Civilization. Writing is often considered a hallmark of civilization, and the Indus script shows that these people had developed a means of recording information that was crucial to their societal organization. The consistent use of symbols across a vast geographic area also implies cultural coherence and communication among different urban centers. Whether the script functioned as a shared language or as part of a complex trade code, it reflects the advanced administrative capabilities that were foundational to the Indus people's remarkable achievements in urban planning, trade, and social organization. In the end, the undeciphered script of the Indus Valley Civilization stands as a silent witness to a highly organized, interconnected society, one that left behind evidence of a sophisticated administrative system. While the details of their governance and economy remain obscured by the mystery of the script, these symbols continue to captivate and challenge scholars, hinting at the complexity of a civilization that once thrived along the banks of the Indus River. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Indus Valley Civilization is the apparent absence of militaristic evidence, a stark contrast to other ancient civilizations of its time. While sites like Mesopotamia, Egypt, and even early China are rich in artifacts depicting warfare, weaponry, and defensive fortifications, the archaeological record of the Indus Valley shows little indication of a society built on or deeply engaged in warfare. Excavations at major cities such as Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa reveal an organized, peaceful society with complex infrastructure, yet there is a noticeable lack of weapons, armor, or other artifacts that would suggest a focus on military power. This absence of militaristic evidence extends to the city layouts themselves. Unlike many other ancient cities, the urban centers of the Indus Valley are not heavily fortified. While some walls and elevated structures may have served as flood protection, there is little evidence that they were designed as defensive barriers. The cities lacked citadels or fortresses that would have provided security in times of conflict, suggesting that large-scale defense was either unnecessary or managed in a manner different from other civilizations. This could imply a society that either faced limited external threats or maintained stability through trade, diplomacy, or other peaceful interactions rather than military might. Artifacts from the Indus Valley Civilization also lack any depictions of conquest or conflict, a striking difference from the art and iconography of contemporaneous societies. Mesopotamian and Egyptian art, for example, often glorified rulers as warriors, celebrating victories in battle or depicting them as divine conquerors. The art of the Indus Valley, however, appears focused on animals, religious symbols, and daily life rather than themes of aggression or dominance. Seals and figurines from the civilization display intricate craftsmanship and aesthetic sophistication but make no reference to war, conquest, or combat. This absence points to a society that perhaps valued harmony and communal life over martial prowess. Another significant observation is the lack of organized weapon caches or mass graves typically associated with military action. In other early civilizations, burials often included weapons or tools of war, either for use in the afterlife or as markers of the deceased's warrior status. Indus burials, however, are largely devoid of such items, focusing instead on personal ornaments, pottery, and tokens of daily life. This suggests a society that placed value on trade, craftsmanship, and cultural practices rather than warrior identity. The absence of large-scale cemeteries for war casualties further supports the idea that the Indus people may not have engaged in frequent or organized warfare. Some scholars speculate that the Indus Valley Civilization may have maintained stability through a robust system of trade and diplomacy rather than military expansion. Located strategically along trade routes that connected Mesopotamia, Central Asia, and the Arabian Peninsula, the Indus cities were well positioned to thrive on economic interactions rather than territorial conquests. The civilization's extensive trade network, involving materials such as lapis lazuli, carnelian, and copper, points to a complex system of economic relationships that could have fostered interregional cooperation and minimized the need for conflict. By building alliances through trade rather than military force, the Indus Valley people may have achieved a unique model of stability based on mutual benefit rather than domination. We'd love to hear your thoughts on possible future topics. What areas of human evolution would you like to explore next? Leave your suggestions in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. As always, our references and further reading are listed in the description below if you'd like to dive deeper into the subject. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. And do not forget, subscribe to the knowledge.